Oh, we up and running? Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. Great to have everyone. Let me just get myself situated over on the old Instagram. If it wants to work, we'll see. Julia, great to have you back. Ishan, pleasure as always. Ghostbite, welcome, welcome, welcome. Panda, how you doing? Devi Animations, welcome. Super Trooper, bloody our resident blender guru. Young Word, what's going on? Okay, let me just click the go live button and turn the fan on because it's fucking hot. All right. So, it's going well, super. It's going really well. Today, I would like to stretch my imagination muscles by starting off with a reference and then try and manipulate that reference in different angles. So it might be more of like a sketch or like line work heavy stream, if that's okay with you guys. But that's something that I personally really want to work on. And I think it could be beneficial. I hope it's going to be beneficial to you guys as well. So let me just get all my stuff in the right area. I choose Honey, how you doing? El Rizzo, welcome, welcome, welcome. Artistic Spartan. Because I've started to use real world pens and brush pens and stuff, and I'm absolutely hooked. I love it. So I reckon we're just going to grab a whole bunch of reference. We're going to have a good time chatting, talking about whatever, while at the same time, hopefully, all going well, we'll get some good mileage in and some focused mileage. Because I would like to, the goal of this for me is to be, basically, long story short, Rembert Montold, hanging out with that dude, seeing how he drew and just being able to come up with shit on real bits of paper. It sounds stupid, but it's unbelievable what you can do. So I'm trying to like fast track my way to add that style or technique to my toolbox. Not to necessarily do it exclusively, but just to know that I could touch that way of doing stuff, if that makes sense. Hopefully it makes sense. If not, well, that sounds like a you problem, not a me problem. Chip Norris, how you doing? All right, Instagram. I need to have a chat to the people at Instagram. I don't know where I would find that, but their UI for live video is absolute shithouse. Glow Jelly, do you prefer Photoshop or other softwares? Oh, I don't know. Photoshop's just where it's kind of like home. It's just I know it. But I've been playing around with Clip Studio actually for their like inking brushes and stuff. Very, very nice. Full of joy. It was super cool meeting you at Lightbox. It's great to meet you as well. Thanks for popping past. And oh my god, did I have fun in the States? I'm like homesick, but from the US. Okay. So let's get cracking. So as I mentioned before, it's just going to be a very sketch heavy, line work heavy. We might add some color, I don't know, but I've found a little tool that I've been experimenting with the Filthy plugin, which I might show you guys later. And I've got a semi-announcement to make at some stage. Might as well do it up front. I'm currently working. You can see the behind the scenes here. I'm currently working on, and of course it wants to not work. Let me just close Notion. So this next year is going to be ramping up a lot of stuff content wise. So I'm working on a lighting jumpstart, kickstart, whatever you want to do it, understanding how light works, because that was useful, the most useful thing in the last, I don't know, few years for me to understand, particularly when it comes to rendering and stuff. So I'm currently working on this. No exact links or anything like that to sign up to anything just yet. Probably a fault of my own. Bad marketing, Ben. But that's something that I'm working on. So keep that in mind. Keep up to date with all the stuff that I'm putting out. But yeah, that's been my main focus. All right, let's just get going. Enough of me fucking. You're not here to listen to me talk. Okay, so we've got old mate just chilling here. Now, the goal is, how's the audio levels and everything as well? Are they all good? I have tried Critter is shown. I quite enjoy it. Critter's nice. It's got a very cool brush. I think it's like the chrome brush or something. Audio's good. Legend, appreciate you, Devi. Nezral, how you doing? So yeah, the way that I want to structure that, it's just going to be lighting and values, because I don't know, at least for me, tackling things step by step instead of doing like trying to cram color and light and this and that. The most important thing for me to have understood is really values, planes, different lighting types, how light works. Not so much from a, I guess from a physics level, but it's like, but not too in depth, you know? You just have a general understanding, but then you can manipulate it however you want. And that is where the fun comes in. It's like getting past all the tricky shit, and then you can use that. It's like unlocking I don't know, I don't really play games that much, but a skill tree thing. You know what I'm talking about. Good to hear, Nisrael. I can't afford Photoshop. Don't worry about it, dude. Critter works. Critter's great. You know? Absolutely nothing wrong with Critter. And I think Clip Studio has like a month by month, but it's like fairly cheap option as well if you want to give that a shot. I do enjoy Critter's brushes though, and the way that they mix colors. So this is just a little warm up. One thing I've found with being fairly new to like graphic, like screen tablets, is that it has actually helped my traditional, just like sketching in a sketchbook. I've never really kept a sketchbook, but I've started to, and it's really fun. But actually just having the hand eye, like bing bing, like looking at what I'm drawing and I'm seeing what I'm drawing, it is quite useful. Now I should, what am I doing here? What am I doing? I've just started. Maybe move him down here, scale him up a little bit so you can actually see what I'm doing and it's not like 6 pixels. Let's move old mate out of the way here. But yeah, I'm super amped for getting the lighting. I don't know what to call it. It's a working title at the moment. What the hell is light? Would be a funny one. Because there's some weird little caveats, and it's not like a full massive like it's not a textbook. I want to avoid it being so academic that I just get lost in it, because I've taken some courses where it goes that route and it's infuriating, because it's like, okay, I've got to get through all this stuff. How do I actually use the thing? How do I use the information to just get what I need out of it? So I'm kind of like trying to refine it all down to the bare essentials of what will get you up and running, you know, and just what I use on a daily basis. But yeah, it's been fun, because it's going to be like a course. It's not going to be like a walkthrough like what I've done before. That's the goal of it. All right, so I'm just blocking out a hedge, you know, nothing crazy. Getting started. Dania, great to have you. Ines, welcome back. The Bone Brew, great to have you back. How do you practice lightness and proportion? Are you simply just grabbing reference or doing specific exercises like trying to draw the same character with different shapes and proportions? If I'm doing likeness, I will get someone that I'm familiar with, whether it be a famous person or whatever. Because if I was just going to take this dude, I could get a likeness-ish, but I don't know what he looks like, you know, really. I don't know what the front of him looks like, in different lighting scenarios, that kind of thing. I would recommend, when practicing likeness, getting multiple references, so you're not stuck to the one reference, because sometimes, even though you recognize that person in a certain photo, photos can be weird illusions sometimes, and they can make a person not look like themselves. You've probably had that even yourself, where someone's taken a photo of you and you're like, ew, who's that? So get multiple references and then see if you can find some similarities. Between them. Being similarities meaning features, right? Do they have a big chin, a small chin, large nose, big nose, etc., etc. Gabrielle, go for it. What's something an artist should do right after laying their flat color? Depends what your goals are. Figure out your next step goals. Flat colors might be all you need. All right, so my goal is to not get noodly today. No noodles. All right, so we've got here. Let's add a little bit of his. Whoa. Now I've got to get out of this freaking habit. I've got a big screen in front of me now, not zooming in and out all the freaking time. I need to just chill on the bloody scrubby zoom. So I'm also going to try and practice some more line work. I'm almost ready to do another line work video, because there's been stuff that I've learnt since doing that first sort of YouTube line work video. And I'm going to need some smoothing on, because I've had pre-workout this morning and I'm drinking a cup of coffee. I didn't just take a pre-workout just for the sake of it. Did it because I went to the gym, but that's probably still in me. And I'm drinking coffee, so I'm a bit jittery. Izzy tries everything. Dude, I just started watching you and amazing and helped me find my ass. Hell yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Great to have you. Welcome. Super. What did I miss? What are you working on today? I'm working on invention and line work and not getting stuck on the reference. So I'll start off with this guy and it's just going to be a line work heavy, a line work heavy stream because I would like to get better at my line work. So it makes sense. And two, get better at my traditional stuff. So we're going to try and do that through digital. And not just like, I think you can get better at different mediums if you're focused on the decisions that you make. Right? So for example, instead of it like, oh, I'm not using a brush pen, so I'm not learning anything. Incorrect. Wrong, in my opinion. Right? Prove me wrong. But I could practice my decision making. What unnecessary lines do I tend to make? You know? What habits have I gotten into that I can really think about fixing? And then I can bring that into any medium. Gouache, oils, whatever. But I'm on like a real brush pen kick. And I don't want to show anyone any of my brush pen stuff because it sucks at the moment. The Bone Brew, thanks for the answer. Glad you like the States so much. Next time, got to hit the East Coast. Definitely. That was kind of the plan on this last trip, but it just didn't work out, unfortunately. But yeah, East Coast would be sick. There may be I had a chat to someone that wanted me to come out to Savannah, Georgia, I think. That would be interesting. All right, so I'm just trying to make some decisions. And not get too sketchy with it. All right, I've been watching a lot of Kim Jong-gi. Also, like one thing I've been noticing about a lot of like brush pen and like pen and ink people, they take their time because it's so permanent. They don't have the luxury of being able to just go da 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 da, whoops, and then just undo. You know, so they're very deliberate with their lines, which is quite nice, and there's no reason why we can't take some of that, excuse me, and utilize it in our digital stuff. Nezral, oh nice one. Kaneki, welcome. Joy, you're right, the YouTube UI is better than Instagram UI for live. Yeah, 1000%. Benny, you're one of those people who puts their stylus between their index and middle finger. I hold it like a pen, like just not like pretty standard. Ines, Ben, where did the idea to make Plain Jane come from? Very good question. I love the look of like Disney maquettes. And I tend to have a habit of wanting to figure shit out, like how to do stuff myself. That's kind of it, really. So then I made, like, I want to do more of this sort of stuff. I don't know if you can see. Hold on, let me. He just happened to be like, what's his name? The Into the Spider-Verse guy. So I've been having some fun making these little maquettes out of clay, but this is like clay, right? So it's hard. It's still like pretty like solid, but it's impermanent. So then I wanted to keep something permanently, and then I was like, oh, maybe people would be interested in having one of these plain Janes. And it's my own IP as well, so I'm not worried about like buying licenses and all that sort of shit. So Glitch, been well, my friend. Welcome back. Adam, I appreciate you, my friend. Welcome. Okay, so we're chatting, we're noodling. Chatting's fine, noodling's not. So let's see, how can we change this? If I were to try and understand more about this head, what could I do? All right, so let's, I don't know. Back views are bloody tricky. So let's try that. And let's get me out of the way because you don't need to see my head. There we are. Dania, in your opinion, should an artist be able to draw anything, not necessarily from imagination, but from a reference? I mean, there are people who draw only portraits or animals. It depends on your goals, right? There are no rules to any of this stuff. We're literally either throwing pixels or pigments or whatever onto a page, right? Whoever says there's one way to do any of this, or this is the only way, I don't know. I think they're fucking idiots. But it really depends on your goals. If you just want to draw animals, keep drawing those bloody animals, right? I like doing the stylized stuff because there's a bit of, it's a challenge, right? It's part, like, I can use reference and utilize that reference however I want to. But also there's this kind of thing where I've got to invent shapes. Right? I'm trying to find or imagine and rotate this head in 3D space off the top of my head. And figure stuff out, you know? That is the real fun part for me. But that's my goals. Right? My goals are very different to probably a lot of your guys' goals. But basically do whatever you want. But then when it comes down to studying and whatever, try and study stuff that's going to help you on whatever your goals are. I mean, it's kind of like a duh, but I get lost in that as well. I sometimes get the feeling that, I need to know how to draw XYZ thing, you know, I should already know how to draw this. It's stupid. How would I know how to draw something if I've never bloody drawn it before? I can guess. I can do my best to kind of fudge my way through it, but if I've never seen the thing before, if I've never drawn it, you know what I mean? Like this cap here is annoying the shit out of me right now. But that's fine. We'll figure it out. You started streaming earlier today than usual. I think it's because daylight savings. Daylight savings kicked in here. Sadly, I missed the art drop. Do you think you might make more of her at some point, or you only make other head sculpts? No. We'll be making more plain Janes. But they're going to be in smaller drops, right? They're not going to be like drops of 30 or 40 or whatever I did last time. They're going to be smaller drops, and they're probably going to be less frequent for the time being, just because I got to focus on some other stuff. The Bone Brew. So line work today for your practice. Proportion exploration is what I'd like to focus on for my practice session this evening using your reference. What would you suggest for an exercise doing this? Jumping into the deep end, I think. Because I've started to feel, like, I don't know if you guys have felt this, I've started to feel like with a blank, because it's like the physical page with a pen is very unfamiliar territory for me. So having that feeling of, oh shit, and that like resistance to want to do anything because it might not look good, you know, I'm feeling that a lot, like a lot, which is nice because it's like, all right, cool, I'm learning. This is not comfortable. And that's perfect. That's what I'm after. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, I'm trying to imagine that cap. Something along that, like that-ish. So yeah, I've kind of thrown myself into the deep end of one of the hardest things to do, which is like pen and ink stuff. And I highly recommend just like going for it. There just comes a point where you've just got to start. You just got to throw down the lines, you know. Everett Williams, appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for popping in. Glitch, well, it's nice to see you. Good to see you again, my friend. I haven't been able to watch you lately because of school, but you do you. I'll be there or won't be there. Appreciate it, man. Super. And it's a big part of why I'm not going to show like all of my sketchbook or anything like that. Not everything has to be content. You know, I've got a sketchbook that is just full of terrible drawings at the moment. But from those terrible drawings, hopefully comes better drawings. That's the goal anyway, right? Okay, so we've done kind of like a back view from imagination. What about, I don't know, like an under the head, like under view. Let's see if we can reverse engineer this. Alright, so because also I'm finding it's very easy to slip into like habits of like what I'm comfortable drawing as well. Particularly because I'm not super comfortable with it, but that's all right. But this also, preaching to the choir again, simple shapes are the best, you know? Because if I was, but eventually I want to start like, because I can't do all these. Well, I can do whatever the fuck I want, really. But I don't want to be having all these like sketchy lines necessarily if I'm doing pen and ink or brushwork. So I've got to kind of like edit all this out eventually and just lay in that like that head angle, that nose. We're going to be looking up at the nose, right? That's going to be the nostril, right? Follow that through, and you've got the other eyelid. My apologies, Instagram. I'm all over the place on the page, so you're probably losing interest, but that's how it goes. Right, and then we come back through. Understand that the head is gonna duck in here, so we're like matching the kind of the sides of the head. I don't want to be doing those little lines there, you know. I'll do whisper lines, that's for sure. The double line, the double whisper line has been wicked. So useful. Canton, welcome. Dania, I purchased an online course and feel so bored by the things we should draw there. I understand that these are basics. It just feels like torture. So I'm thinking should I be able to draw it? That's a part of how I want to structure stuff, where it's not just spheres and cylinders and that kind of thing. Yeah, those are necessary, you know. You've got to understand them. But I want to quickly show how to use them in real, like in like an actual scenario. What you do here is much more fun. But honestly, I love it. I like the cubes. This is freedom right here. Understanding how a cube sits. It sounds stupid, right? But then we can just, all right, I want it to be this way now. Tilt it over. Going back in space, in perspective, right? And we can connect these. Maybe there's a connection here with like a tube or something, you know? Oh, look at that. Maybe now that's like a pelvis. And this is like a rib cage. And then we've got the head. You know? It seems boring. I get ya. But if you can like force a love for the simple shapes, I recommend sticking with whatever course you got. But then quickly soon after try and like utilize them in the stuff that you want to draw, you know. But yes, I can empathize with like, oh, this is kind of boring, you know. Sugar Beats, welcome back, my friend. How you doing? Right, and how we're talking about simple shapes, the cylinder is going to help me a ton here with that cap and the ear as well. Right, so I want to find that kind of shape of the ear there, and the cylinder is going to wrap around that whole head. If we like draw through, you probably heard that before, drawing through the shapes. You know, so, and then that cap. So if a big thing that I've found as well, I try and like show edges of things where they shouldn't be shown. For example, say I've got the edge of the cap here, right? And we're looking up at it. So it's going to be, imagine it like as a cube and like a flat plane. Sometimes I'll accidentally think that, okay, this is here, and then the cap is going to sort of jut out from this tangent, and then you've got the cap. But that technically isn't really that correct, because if we follow that line through, this is where drawing through is like super helpful. If we draw this through, right, and we imagine it wrapping around the head and back around here. And this is our point on the temple. And we try and imagine that temple back here. That is going to be somewhere equivalent to the other side of the head. So that would actually be coming out a little bit lower. It's little things like that that can make stuff feel a little bit more natural. And then you've got this kind of T-line here, which I've talked about in other videos. Right. If that makes any sense at all. Hopefully it does. Sorry to hear it, Sugar Beats. Wish you the best of luck. Just smashing through it. Keep painting. Keep that brain busy. Alright, so we're just... It's not perfect. It's not the same... Like... Whatever likeness or I'm not focused on that. If I wanted more of the same likeness, this chin might come down a little bit further. You know, that nose might be a little bit wider. And this is where we can just make edits if we want to. The eyes a little bit larger. So then we can just play. This is where it's... Gotta have fun with it, you know. Sharon! Welcome, welcome. How you been? Thun Guns, welcome back. The Pun Master. Sharon, it's dark there. Where are you? Alright, we're getting a little bit noodly. That's fine. Show a little bit of that. Whatever his jacket. Cool, so we started with this, went to this, and then went to this. Cool. New reference. We're just going to be pinging all over the place, trying different references out. Seattle. Yeah. Now we got daylight savings. But everything's lighter now. Later. Sort of like 8 PM, it's still bloody light outside. Okay, let's have a look. I like this, but I think this is going to take me to a website. Hold on. How do can I just do the old little right click, open image and new tab? Ha! Hacked the system. Cool. Now, we're going to be able to play with folds, creases, head angles, all sorts, right? So just throwing ourselves in the deep end. Izzy tries everything. What's a good way to practice different head poses? Literally, like, take photos of yourself. you can be your best reference. Or whip open a webcam, a mirror, whatever. Actually seeing it in 3 dimensions helps me a ton. Kamikaze 3TTV, how you doing? Sugar Beach, you're an advocate for the wings and the sparkles. I tell you what, sparkles are going to be tricky in line work, but we'll see. So I'm just going to start with the simple shapes of this guy, right? Maybe something along these lines. Ear. Sparkles in line work, super easy. There we go. Is that what you're talking about? Kamikaze. Really love your works. Thank you so much. I can't remember if I said that before, but thank you. I appreciate the kind words. Alright, so this guy's got glasses. We can just put an indication of that there to begin with. I might even whip open Clip Studio after this one, just to have a play. Alright, so I want to find that. Again, not being super concerned about the accuracy of how close we are to the reference, if that makes sense. I want to get the vibe. You know, just the general idea. Alright, so I think we've got the vibe-ish. So also want to say hello to those that are not in chat as well, because I met a lot of you in Lightbox, at Lightbox, that just have this on in the background. Appreciate you popping in. Hope whatever you're working on is going well. Kamikaze, you're welcome. Your Italian starting to be a concept artist. Fantastic. I'm struggling a little bit with my art these days, but your tutorials help so much. That's fantastic to hear. How are you struggling? Oh, I'm glad, Sugar Beats. Let's just have a chilled session, hey? No stress. And let's learn some stuff. Now we can start to understand a bit about this backpack. Dun Guns, I don't know if you're familiar, but have you done any art stuff like O'Barrel? O'Barrel, use one main reference but do 5+ iterations. That's a good idea. I don't know what O'Barrel is or who that is. My apologies, but that sounds like a good idea. I guess that's kind of what we're doing here. So I want to see if I can turn this guy in space from my head. ish. Or barrel. Oh. Glad to hear it, Sugar Beats. Alright, I'm going to do a cheeky knockback. Refine the lines a little bit. Because I feel, you know what, I'm gonna whip open Clip Studio. Try something different. Because I quite like their G Pen. It sounds funny. Okay. So let's grab old mate here, Control C. How's this gonna go? Ugh, doesn't work. So I've got to just do a quick little save it to the old desktop. Layer 38. Then grab this guy. Hello. Layer 38.png. Not what I wanted. More of what I wanted. Now you'll have to forgive the noobness that I have with Clip Studio, but we'll figure it out. Okay, let's play. Ishan, Ben, how do I get rid of chicken lines in my sketches? First, you got to get rid of the chicken reference. If that's your issue. Terrible joke. Doesn't even make any sense. I think it could sound annoying, but thinking about the lines that you're going to be putting down before you put them down helps me a lot. So we're gonna try and do that here, right? So where's my bloody reference gone? Here we go. Excuse me. Okay. Let's scoot you over here. All right. Now, where's my G pen? So there's G pen, and then there's a real G pen. Whatever that means. We're gonna go for the real one. Let's see if we can. Let's go at dark and a little bit of stabilization. Let's see if that's gonna work for me. So this is where it gets fun, because I can translate the learnings that I'm going to be doing here into pen and ink work in the real world, which is going to be sick. Kamikaze, I don't have the art school base, so I know what I want to draw and the style I want, but when I try to put it on paper, the proportions are off or it doesn't come out as I want. Yeah, I don't have traditional like art school training, I guess you'd say, either. So we're in the same boat. One thing that's helped a lot is understanding. It's good that you said like proportions. So that's something that you know you got to work on. And I'd try and work on something, like work on things like one at a time. Not necessarily like for like a week or anything. You could do that. But what on earth? So yeah, all these, I'm going to be doing a lot of that. But yeah, understanding or just like setting some time aside, just to be like, okay, cool, proportions. The proportions are looking off. How do I fix that? Let's see. So I'm trying to think here about like varying my line weights as well. Oh, my lantern. Hold on. Now I'm going to see a little bit more of the back of this ear. Alright, because it's kind of facing away from us a little bit. So I want to see if I can capture a bit of that. Oh, I'm jittery as anything. Let's zoom in. I've got the bloody pre-workout running through me. I've got bloody coffee going. It's all happening. I'm not going to make any promises with the color today, Sugar Beats, because I want to focus on a lot more of the line work, because that's what I feel like I need help with the most for my specific goals at the moment. So, but there's nothing stopping us from doing it if the inspiration strikes, you know. We'll see. I don't know. So the whisper lines that I've talked about in previous videos come in super handy here. Right, all these little describing lines, if they were all the same line weight as, say, like underneath this chin here, nightmare. Right? And then it kind of just looks like someone's got a Sharpie and kind of like drawn on his face. But if you do like this little double, the little double one's lovely. Just do a little like, hello. Just a little indication. Thing I'm learning about like the pen and ink stuff is subtlety is where it's at, not describing every single little thing. Willio, what would you say to people are trying to build an audience with their art and stream on YouTube? Are you streaming yourself? I appreciate the kind words as well, Willio. Thank you, Sugar Beats. Some of these lines are start and stoppy, right? So you notice I'm not going like quick, like oh boom 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 boom. I could do that, but I'm trying to practice here. No, I'm trying to practice being more patient, understanding what I'm going to add, what I'm going to leave out, and that is where also style comes in. What I leave in and what you're going to leave in or leave out, completely different. Kamikaze, I didn't know about you. That's kind of comforting to know. So probably practice as much as I can. I feel like if I can understand proportions, then I can start on stylization. Don't feel like I would preface that with, don't feel like you have to do one thing before another, if that makes sense. You don't have to necessarily get good at proportions before you can start stylizing. You don't have to necessarily get good at line work before you can start coloring in the line work. I would recommend follow your interests as hard as you can. Just like follow what's interesting. Look at other artists, see how they do stuff, and keep that interest alive and the excitement with it. Because I don't know, at least for me, as soon as I started to feel like, oh, I have to learn this thing before I do, like, because I was doing a lot of realism back in the day, all right, and I felt like I needed to do that before I was kind of like allowed, quote unquote allowed. Who's telling me that, like, no one, it's all up here, before I was kind of like allowed to explore and experiment with stylized stuff, you know? It was stupid. But then the funny thing is, as you start following your interests, the things that you might have found that were boring, for example, the cubes, the spheres, all that kind of stuff, right? Those become so much more interesting because you've got direct understanding of how it's going to help you in your goals. It's not like in isolation. You're not just over here in this little bubble doing a bunch of cubes just for the sake of it, you know? It's like, okay, I want to get better at understanding the face in 3 dimensions. I could start off with a bit of a cube, all right, for the top sort of like planes of the head and that kind of thing, but then I can come down and morph it more into the head shape and then add the ear and blah blah blah. All right, so context is everything. Man, I'm in a rambly mood today. My apologies. SIAG, how you doing? Thungun's pre-workout. Ben, do you take creatine to help with art? No, I take creatine to help with life. If you actually, like, this is not nutritional advice, but if you actually look up the benefits of creatine, it's not just for like working out. But it's the most researched supplement, an effective supplement for working out, but it also has like cognitive benefits as well. But take that with a pinch of salt. This is not nutritional advice, etc., etc. You know the deal. I don't know if I have to say that, but I'm saying it. Willio, yes, I've been streaming for like 2 years. The growth never seems to be consistent. One day it's 10 people, the next it's empty. Where are you streaming? On YouTube? Because I've run a bit of an experiment recently with my stream. Not even the stream itself, but just with the thumbnail, making that more appealing, just like a normal YouTube video, helps a ton. And are you streaming on a consistent basis as well at the same time every week? That, I think, is a very important thing, or as best you can, you know, because then you get just like guys in chat here, they know this time every week we're gonna have a good time, hang out, and do some study, right? Mum's in the chat. Everyone, say hi to Mum. Cheryl, Something I've learnt with animation after almost 7 years of doing it is that it's really based off of both precision and pure luck. I remember when you only drew frogs. True. SIAG, part of me is inspired off of Carl Hadrika, the guy who made Becky Prim. The way he captures a realistic perception of a character despite being heavily stylized amazes me and is my kind of style. Awesome. Glad it helps. Kamikaze. Ishan, how do I make my chicken lines look more intentional? Yeah, what was I saying about that before? Thinking about the line before you throw it down. You know, this is how. So there's no opacity in this line. There's only thick and thin. Well, there might be a tiny bit, but it's like imperceptible, right? So when I'm about to lay a line down, I'm thinking about it, right? I'm thinking about the contours of the backpack, of the arm, you know, of whatever I'm drawing. How can I best describe the form? Every Sunday I stream, but I stream randomly throughout the week given the chance. That's cool. That's cool. What are your other socials like? How do people know that you're streaming? Are you... Forgive me if I don't have any context around around your work or that kind of stuff. So utilize other social media platforms to let people know that you are streaming. That's been a big help for me as well. Before I stream, I post on Instagram, YouTube, if I remember. So yeah, utilize, like if the streams are something that you really want to grow, it's not, for me, the streams aren't something that I'm super focused on growing. This stream is just as much for me as I hope it's helpful for others. It's a way to keep consistent and consistently draw. And then it's turned into like something that I really enjoy just chatting with you guys, you know, so. Alright, so we've drawn this dude in a certain way, right? Now I might want to put a little bit of the shadow magic in certain areas that make sense. Right, where his arm sort of connects to that backpack. Oh, SIAG. I'll remember that. Benji, cool. Super Trooper, wait, when was your frog phase? Can we see some frogs? I don't think I've ever drawn a frog. I don't know what Sugar Bees was talking about. He made frogs in clothes. I don't know if that's just been wiped from my memory. I can't remember that at all. Will you, just my Instagram, honestly. Okay. One practical thing I could say for getting people to discover your stream on, particularly on YouTube, because that's all I've had experience with, is focusing on that thumbnail and title. All right, I'm pretty lazy with the title because, again, I'm not trying to grow this necessarily like at the moment. That might change at some stage, but grabbing and making sure it's clear that it is a stream on YouTube because that was one experiment that I ran of showing the like OBS layout on the thumbnails, so when people hop in, they've got the expectation that it is a stream and it's not like a normal YouTube video, and then it just doesn't get like buried because people are like, oh, it's not a YouTube video, I'm out, if you know what I mean. Speaking of streamers, I think Katie, you've been streaming. Oh no, you've been smashing the reels. What's going on, man? How are ya? How often do you usually draw outside of stream? Whenever or on a set? Whenever, really. There's no set schedule for me, and it's going to be contextual. Like if I've been drawing a lot, actually, a lot more off stream because I'm working on this lighting course. Nice, Katie. Thanks for popping in, my friend. The frog. Should he have a frog coming out of his backpack? Maybe. All right, so let's give myself some leeway and let's change to the pencil, okay? I want to see if and this could completely fail. Who knows? Let's start rotating this guy in space. So maybe if we wanted to, what do you think? Let's just do like maybe a front view or like a 3/4 front. This could turn out horribly. So strap in, everyone. Bro, can you draw a snake? I can draw a snake. It's a bit late for me. I'm in Rome, so I'm going to bed. Thank you so much for the advice, and I'll keep following the streams and tutorials. Thank you so much, Kamikaze. Great to have you pop in. Lana, welcome back. Lana, no, I guess this is the time now, but it's the same time for me because now it's daylight savings and all that fun stuff. So I use my portrait drawing of myself. You might be right. I've got to change my thumbnail and title. That's one thing I haven't tried. Give that a shot, Willio. I reckon that could help, and give it a couple of weeks to experiment. You know what I mean? You can also draw dinosaurs. I do love a good dinosaur. Maybe maybe that's what this guy's looking at. Yeah, I do love a good dinosaur. You never know. No. Getting off track. Getting off track. No worries, mate. No worries, Will. Willio. Is it Will? Will Yo Art. So Will. Because I just see Willio Art. Yeah, I think I'm just going to leave this here as like a note for myself. Dinosaur. Brontosaurus. I can't exactly remember what they look like, but something along those lines. He's like a baby one because his head's quite small in comparison. There you go. Maybe he's like eating some stuff at the moment. All right, cool. But what we were going to do, we've got to see if we can redraw this guy. But how do I change the pen? I can do the brush size here, I guess. What? Okay. So we're going to have to think about this. We're just going to jump into the deep end. His head's tilted up a bit, so we're going to see a little bit more. Of that head tilted up. He's got glasses. Ear might be lower. So the idea is I'm trying to think about this kind of perspective. If he was like standing here. All right, I've been watching a lot of Kim Jong-gi's work. Can you tell with the boxes? All right, so I'm going to try and fit him foreshortened. Oh my God. Alright, so his body's going to get smaller. I'm going to be looking down. And this is tricky. This is very tricky, and it's probably not going to turn out fantastic, but we'll see. We will see. We just got to really think what's going on. So he's looking up at us. The horizon line is somewhere up here. This is why I'm using a pencil. I'm just gonna not be too concerned. So these lines are going to be sort of indicating that we're looking down. It's Willie O Art. Okay, cool. Good to know. Good to know. Wombat. How you doing? Oh God. Yeah, I was going to say sauropods are usually massive. Now it's a baby one. Already thought of that. So now his hand, we're going to be actually looking at the knuckles. If we box that out, we'd probably see the knuckles. Would see less of the backpack. Barely any of the backpack, I think, on with this view. Ears, might see a little bit of the other ear. His head's tilted backwards. Now this is the tricky part, right? Is where I get stuck sometimes, is wanting to draw like the neck in the front view, you know, but that's not what I'm looking at here, right? And having it, we will actually be seeing a lot less. Where everything's going to be like foreshortened, right? So if we're looking down, you got the chin. Imagine our eye line is here. Oh, okay, we're the dinosaur, let's say. We're looking here, the chin, and then the difference between what we would actually be seeing, like that, whatever, like the what's it's called, like this little part of his jacket is probably going to be about here, right? And then if we're looking here as well, it's going to come quite high on his neck potentially, because we're looking down, and that's one way to think about it, is actively my apologies, I'm not used to Clip Studio, is actively thinking about the view. Where are we looking? We're going to be looking here. I'm going to be looking on top of everything. Now the head angle is not perfect, but whatever. His name is Frederick. All right, I'll give you that. Freddy. Who bit my neck? Which one do you prefer, drawing anatomy using boxes and shapes or drawing directly using sketching? A bit of both. I don't think there should be, at least for me, it doesn't help for me to, let's say, choose one over the other, you know? It depends on, what's the way? It depends on my use case. It depends on what I need. Now here we're looking on the side. Things are going to be very straight, but if I think about these as cylinders or like cylinder-esque, they're going to be wrapping. Right, wrapping down. Now we're getting a little bit more accurate direction. Right, and we can even imagine the dinosaur right on the side of us with the leaves and that kind of thing, you know? So now we're fully manipulating everything, which is fun. Changing views at will, just with shapes. Lana, but if you're drawing that hoodie, are you just copying the reference or is there a shape in mind? Always shapes in mind. Always really, really simple shapes. Here, cylinder, right? If we were to simplify it. Okay, and then a cylinder with a hole, basically, which you could also call a donut. So that's again, I'm preaching it, and I'm going to continue to preach it, and you're going to get sick of me saying it. Simple shapes are the freaking best. They're just like the best tool ever. All right, now we're looking, so this arm is kind of out like that. It's not like directly underneath, because that would be kind of, a donut is a Taurus. Thank you, Super Trooper, the Blender Guru. But he's not like this completely, right? He's kind of, the arms out like that, so we can keep that in mind to make it feel more natural here. Then maybe this other arm is just kind of down by his side or whatever. Are you only drawing, or are you also making web designs, logos, flyers, etc.? Cow V. I do have a background in graphic design. So I make all my own, whatever you call it. You know what I'm saying. All my branding stuff. Now, Clip Studio, how do we change the opacity? Such a stupid question. Is that brush density? It's brush density. Okay, there you go. Anyone trying Clip Studio? Brush density is equivalent to opacity. All right, now let's do something scary and let's try and ink it. Get the real G pen instead of this fake G pen. Would I ever switch to Clip Studio Paint fully? Probably not. Maybe, I'm not opposed to it. But it just depends on what I'm using it for. I really like the pen, like this G pen, you know? So I might just use it for that. See, it's not perfect. Maybe this nose. Needs to come out a little bit more. Maybe these glasses aren't it. They're kind of like oval glasses. Maybe I make it more round. Or I'll just draw the eyes and stuff first. That might make more sense. No, yeah. Because we're looking down at his head, but he's also at the same time. So this is tricky. We're looking down at his head, but he's also angled up. So this angle of the chin might be pretty flat. Likeness is going to be off. It's all going to be skew if we're learning. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to look at reference and simplify the shapes, or at least for me lately, a bit hard. Yeah, it can be. It's hard for me as well. That's why I wanted to focus this stream a little bit on something that I'm trying to work on, which is a big part of, yeah, manipulating those shapes in space. Does Ben sound extra Australian today, or am I just tired? I think you might just be tired. I don't know if I'm sounding any extra Australian than what I normally am. I could be. You never know. Now his head's on an angle a little bit this way, so we might show that by adding the glasses, offset a little bit on his head. huge fan of how it's looking just yet, but that's fine. We'll make adjustments as we go. We're actually going to probably see a lot more of the top of his hair. Brad, have you found much difference in between the two softwares? Yeah, I really like the Clip Studio's brush engine. It's actually really nice. I'm sure you can get something similar in Photoshop or Critter or whatever. See how everything is kind of offset this way, just a tad? It's not, we're not perfectly looking at a sphere, let's say, in perspective. Cylinder, sorry. Cylinder in perspective, and it's not like perfectly straight, and it's not the torus of the clothes aren't exactly straight. It's kind of offset. Or the angle is a little bit different because of how the viewer, us, is looking at him. If that makes sense. G'day, mate. I'm stuffed. I don't really know what that means, but I think it means tired. Yeah, oh, stuffed. Stuffed implies like food. At least for me. Could mean a little bit something different for other people, but it's like, oh, I'm stuffed. That's food. You'd say, g'day, mate. I'm knackered. That's what I would say if I was tired. One thing that I've noticed that the Americans don't say, like if you're walking past them, like I was doing a lot of walking while I was there. If you walk past them, they say like hello or hi. If they do, like if you are talking to them. For me, I say, how you doing? And then they'll answer like, I'm good, how are you? And we're already past each other. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm good. But here it's kind of like, how you doing? It's just like, hey. That was a little observation I had. How are you? Rodrigo, appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for popping in. Where can I find some information about canvas settings for web design, flyers, logos, posters? YouTube. Calvi, go for it. Search on YouTube. Jimmy, hi Ben, something I'm really struggling with is good value control and sense for values. I'll try to study a reference, get wildly different value ranges. How do you improve in this area? Well, I'm going to start plugging this thing when anyone asks that question, and it's a big reason why I'm starting with this. I'm working on something for you. All right, a whole thing on values. Okay, everything I know about light, how light works, and values and everything. So stay tuned. But if I can give you some tips right now, is try and understand, instead of or what I like to do is understand what's happening in the reference itself, instead of just necessarily looking at values themselves, like the darks and the lights. Understanding where the light source is, what it's doing, what type of light source it is, can help, at least for me, nail in some of the values and understanding of what's going on, versus just looking at a piece of reference and be like, okay, there's a dark here, there's a light here, which is not invalid. I'm not saying that's the wrong way to do it, but give that a shot. See if you can identify where that light source is. That might be able to help you out a little bit. Brad, you know what? You're not wrong. The response time does feel a little bit faster. That could be why I'm liking it. That's a good little observation there, Brad. All right, now I'm trying to think of what we're going to be seeing. Okay, so we're going to be seeing probably a little bit more of the top of the shoulder and like the traps and that sort of stuff. That strap, we're just going to have to invent that strap because I don't know what that looks like. Maybe that's angled in a little bit. That'll make a little bit more sense. Brad, I agree. I was thinking that same thing with the chin. I've got to figure... See, this is what I've got to figure out with pen and ink. Like, what to leave in, what to leave out. How do I go about showing that depth without relying on so much of that shadow, you know? Because no, you're right. Good call. I think so. I'm trying to draw clothes this week. It's very hard. Clothes are tricky. But again, simple shapes, Lana. Simple shapes, trust me. What? I met an Australian who said stuffed is a good thing. I've never said that before. Stuffed is a good thing? I've heard people say get stuffed, which is like the PG version of something else, which is an insult. Marcio, hello, hello. Great to have you. Cooper, hello from France. Bonjour. Devi, West Coasters definitely say hi way more often. Nice. Another thing Americans do, I noticed, is say, you're good if you bump into them or something. Yeah, and they say boss as well, which kind of rubs me up the wrong way, but it's like if someone... Like if you're ordering something, they're like, you got it, boss. I'm like, I don't know. But I think that's, I don't know, it's not a usual thing to say here. It sounds a little bit patronizing just from experience of living here. But after a while I got used to it. I was like, all right, that's not how they mean it. Calvi, no worries, my friend. Ah, you're too kind, Brad. No, not a good thing. He said stuff means being tired. Yeah, I guess like if it was said, it wouldn't be like, what are you talking about? I guess that makes sense. Alright, let's see if we can find... Oh, here's trouble. Christian? How you doing? Everyone, cat emojis in chat. Because Christian's cat is on the mend. Dutch. I don't even know if there's a cat emoji. If there was one, I would put one in there. Now this is off a little bit. There's something off a little bit, but that's fine. It is what it is. I also think his chin might be a little bit large. And he's got a bit of that like underbite going on, so we're trying to discover that. Oh, Max and Dutch have their own little black cat emojis. I like it. I'll just stick to my own regular slang just in case. Yeah, that's a good call. The legend, you son of a gun. Oh, fuck Christian. If you ever have the pleasure of hanging out with Christian, his humor is like none other that I have found anywhere else. Brad, I've been studying Gurihiru as an art style recently. It reminds me a lot of your work. Oh, cool. It's amazing how they can use very few lines but show so much information in doing so. Yeah, I love trying to figure that out. Because there is a point where there's too many lines, you know? And it's becoming more and more apparent as I'm doing more and more of this kind of stuff where that line is. Pun fully intended, but where that it's just describing too much. But yeah, hopefully as I get better at doing this, I'll have more insights as to what helps me and what doesn't. At the moment, it's just a lot of this feels right, this doesn't feel right, you know? I'll have to check him out. Gurihiru. Alright, maybe... Haha, Mel. Sorry, I missed you in Instagram because Instagram's chat is garbage. Sorry. I don't know if you're still here. My apologies. Probably not, because that was ages ago. Brett, I'm going to take a cheeky little, let's say, 3-minute and 25-second break. Back in 3 minutes and 25 seconds. Hold me to that. And then I'll check out Gurihiru. All right. We are back. Okay, so where were we? Guru. Ah, it wasn't bad. 3 minutes and 7 seconds. Alright. So, Guri Hero. Let's have a look. I wouldn't be surprised if I have seen their work before. Oh, beautiful. Yeah. This is sick. Now I can see what you're saying. Such simple lines. But then being able to get the idea across with the pen and ink. Yeah, that's sick. Good call, Brad. Yeah, nice. Very nice. My wife. Okay. Here we go. Get the glove back on. We'll go for another probably half hour. Keep cruising along. Germania. I love your style. Thank you so much. I want to pursue a career in character design. Do you have any tips on how you draw expressions in the same face multiple times while keeping proportions? I do. Simplifying the what's the word? Simplifying those features in the head shape and everything into the simplest shapes that you can to still get the idea across is going to be an absolute lifesaver for you. It is for me, because as soon as I start doing details and everything like that and getting all nitty gritty with all the tiny little lines, it just makes things that much harder to like manipulate and move in 3D space. So yeah, try and keep them as simple as possible for as long as possible. That would be a little tip on keeping the expressions or staying on model. If you're interested in drawing with brush pens, you should check out Miss Jisoo. I think I know who that is. Yes. Omkar, good morning. All right, let's see where we're at. So I've really got to train myself to have things like saying this. This view to like push it back. We're looking here again, keeping that idea of like the cube or the cylinder or whatever you want to think about. But pushing that back in space. Alright, so we're looking on top of everything. So that means this is gonna probably be cut in a little bit more. Alright, might see a little bit of the backpack there, peeking through. Maybe even down a little bit lower. Might even have this whole arm be more foreshortened. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. We're figuring it out. But it looks like good enough at this stage, you know? It's not perfect, but it's like good enough. Sorry, I've got to figure out, sorry, with the Cintiq, I've got to figure out the zoom levels. Because I can, even at this stage, at this size, I can like work pretty comfortably, but you guys can't see shit all because it's so small, so I've got to be mindful of that. We'll get there. Oh, Germania. No, my pleasure. Thank you so much for the kind words. Is that a new one? A new what? What are we talking about, Debbie? Oh shit, yeah, no, you guys weren't here last stream. Yeah. I got when I got home, like on the way home from the US, yeah, I got lucky. Like rephrase. I was very fortunate to pick this one up on Facebook Marketplace. The big boy 32 Cintiq Pro. The dude just wasn't using it anymore. Got it for an absolute steal. So nothing to do with the trip or anything like that. I was just using it a lot when I was over there, like using Cintiqs and stuff. And I was just like, man, I got to figure out how to get my hands on one of those. And then, yeah, I'd recommend checking it out. Facebook Marketplace. Get them second hand. This one works great. Lana, never made it to New York. Never made it to New York. But I think that's going to be on the cards for next year. At least for a little bit. Oh, yeah. What are we doing here? See, this is where I've got to think more here. Do we do a little knockback maybe? Finish off with knocking this guy back and see if we can refine it to get it feeling more confident like I did with this one. This one looks a little bit trying to figure everything out. So let's give it a whirl. Okay, how do I do that here? Not shrink selection, lasso. So if I cut that and then paste that, did that go on a new layer? Maybe. Beautiful. Okay, that's what I'm after. Sick. Okay. And now we chill and think about our decisions we've made in life. Lana, next time. Yeah. Yeah, I do want to check out New York. That was sick. Davey, is there a trade-off between canvas size and actual comfort when drawing? I don't know. Canvas size. You talking about like screen size? Does your Cintiq have anti-glare screen? Yes, it does. Also, how much did you need to clear from your desk when you got home? A lot. But this is on an ARM, which I'd recommend if anyone's going for like the larger screens, get yourself an ARM. Just being able to go like this and then move it out the way, absolute game changer. So then I've got free space on the desk. Whatever brand that you go with, you know. The trade-off is just the space, but honestly, I'm loving the screen. If not only for the fact what I mentioned before is that I want to get better at more traditional stuff, and having it like a one-to-one, like I'm drawing and I can see where the strokes are going. I think that's going to be a lot better than doing this. Right, and because it is a larger screen, I don't have to be hunched over and doing this. I mean, I can accidentally if I want to get like really finicky with stuff, but I do have the ability to still keep my posture okay, which is nice. Well, okay enough. But I tell you what, my ass is bloody numb as anything because I've been sitting down using this thing so long. But I think the plane did something to me. Like my glutes are a lot more achy since sitting on a plane for bloody 14 hours. Alright, so I'm trying to really think about these shapes that I'm putting down, get a little clearer. Try and keep some semblance of what I've done here with the mouth, you know, and how I find that similarity is I can track it, like the corner of this mouth, how far from the eye is that mouth going to be, and then I can get something kind of similar with, okay, maybe that mouth kind of stops about here, or the corner of the mouth. Which then gives him a bit of character, you know? Don't go, yeah, the arm is handy. Working on a 16-inch tablet, big one, sounds nice, but I can't imagine how much of a workout drawing would turn into. But the beautiful thing is you can zoom it. You can zoom in as far as you want, and then it's just there. Everything's just at your fingertips. Also not sponsored. It just is what it is. artistic. If I got an arm, I would have to rearrange my setup. I thought I wouldn't mind an arm for my XP Pen 24-inch. Yeah, it's not a bad idea, honestly. I love a good rearrange. Like, a good little rearrange is just of this of the workspace is quite nice. Did I get jet lag? No, I didn't. Coming back, I was able to get like 10 hours sleep on the flight. So I was just back into the routine when I landed. It was awesome. I was very fortunate with that, that's for sure. Yeah, see, I'm not liking... I think these eyes could actually be a little bit higher up on the head. Let's see if we can do something about that. Okay, Clip Studio. Feels a bit better. I don't know. I think we can think about the eyes a little bit more. So if he's looking up here, no. Maybe this one could be tucked in a little bit more because we're kind of looking at it at an angle. Or not. Does that make sense? I don't know. I'm figuring this out as we go. No, don't like the eyes. Don't like the eyes. Redo. See, this is where it would be if I was trying to stay like on model and that kind of stuff. It would be beneficial to... Oh my god, Instagram, my apologies. I'm terrible today. The like having a front view would be really beneficial, just to get all the proportions and everything bang on. But that's fine. Super. Then if you were able to make your own TV cartoon, what would it be? I don't know. Probably something with dinosaurs, maybe. Who knows? Appreciate it, Ghostbite. He does have a friendly face. Lana, I don't believe... I know. I didn't believe it myself. But it was such a surprise of just like being able to actually get to sleep. I was like, sick, alright. Only 4 more hours until I get to Australia. 10 hours sleep, beautiful. I'm not going to argue with that. And this is another thing I've found here as well, is how this, because this shoulder is gonna be like a solid thing. So the hood of the hoodie is gonna do some sort of wrapping around like that, which is gonna make it look a little bit more natural. Abdel Rahman, I appreciate you popping in. Thunguns, I wonder if it's possible to do the paint blob shape design exercise but for bodies instead of heads. Yeah, I don't see why not. T Fishy, welcome, welcome. Brad is a bit of a stretch, but his facial structure reminds me of the character from Paperman by Disney. Messy long hair, slight overbite, big nose, or like the Page Master grown up. Oh, I don't know off the top of my head who you're talking about, unfortunately. I'm so uncultured with art, if I'm honest. I need to get better. I've actually started... I've never read a fiction book. That's probably a lie. I've never read like in the last like 20 years, I don't think I've ever read like a fiction book. I've just literally started yesterday. Because I'm also hoping that that's going to help with my art as well. Getting ideas and whatever. Ishan, yeah, I know what you're talking about with that one, definitely. The eyes, they're doing my head in. Wrong. Incorrect. Maybe I need to go simpler. Just dot, boom. Maybe that's it. Sharon, I would love to, like, if you used to read fiction books, I need some recommendations. I'm reading, what is it called? It's some weird one. I don't know if that's, not in a bad way, but I just don't know what to expect. It is... Hold a moment. Hold the phone. Piranesi. It's making no sense to me at the moment, but I think that's the point of it. Artistic, wouldn't be a bad idea to do critiques at the end of streams, maybe 2 or 3 for the last 20 minutes. Yeah, maybe. But honestly, by the end of the streams, I'm kind of wrecked. So I might even do that as like a separate thing. Because I definitely do want to do that. That's for sure. But it's, yeah, just finding the right format and how to keep the old energy up. Read Jurassic Park. Oh, good one. I might actually. Because everyone says like, oh, the books are so much better in a lot of cases, so yeah. Alright, so I'm trying to imagine this hand. We're kind of looking on top. The thumb is looking jank. Oh yeah. But this is what we practice for. British giraffe. Holy shit. Yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. By the end of the streams, my brain's fried. British giraffe. How you doing? Great to have you back. Mark of Art. How you doing? Great to have you. You're in an ungodly hour. Now back at you, my friend. Thanks for popping in. Lana, what's the book about? This is the thing. I can't even tell you yet. Because I don't bloody know. This dude is in some house. I think. And then there's like wings of the house. Right? So it's like, okay, yeah, I'm in the house. I'm in like these wings, and there's like hundreds of different wings of the house, and then all of a sudden, the tides come in from the house, and now he's like in water inside a house. It's probably going to be something like he's in a mental institution or something. I don't know. That's my guess. But yeah, it's a weird one. And then like there's one guy, there's only like 2 humans there, but then he's like, but there's others. And then he's like describing like just bones of people, and he's like named them and everything. I'm like, what the hell am I bloody reading? I got it off some YouTube like recommendation, so we'll see. Yeah, maybe I should have started off with something familiar, but I'll stick with it. The funny thing is, people have said that. They're like, I don't understand it for like the first 2 hours, but hours from 4 till 7, the best thing ever. I'm like, oh, it's a bit of a stretch. I've got to wait. But it could be a practice in patience, you know, in waiting for the payoff. Yeah, one of these days I'm going to whip out the sketchbook, and we're going to do this for real, for real. Get the brush pen out. I think the glasses might even be at the wrong, whatever you call it, angle. That could be it. Oh, sorry. Catching up with chat. Friday night critiques, maybe. Maybe. Montanese. How you doing? Greetings from Brazil. Also, if you haven't, I'd also recommend The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. Yeah. I don't know if I'm not a huge fan of The Lord of the Rings. I don't dislike it, but I've never gotten into it. If you don't mind young adult fiction in addition to adult fiction, I'd recommend The Enchanted Forest Chronicles by Patricia C. Reed. The books are wonderfully well thought out and funny. Res, thank you very much for the recommendation. All right, don't spoil anything for Ben. Ishan, so a tsunami. See, this is what I'm saying. Is it like a beautiful mind sort of thing where he's like actually cooked in the head, and he's just imagining all this stuff? Who knows? Wait, what's the genre and the title? I don't even know the genre. I just looked up a YouTube thing and I was like, all right, I'll go with that. Piranesi. Piranesi. So we'll see. Maybe we chat about this each week and we create a little book club. No. But I'll probably talk about it. I'm like, what is going on? But I don't want to spoil it for people. But also, if some weird shit happens, I want to talk about it. But I just don't even know what's going on. And he's like writing journals. He's like writing journals of what he's seeing. And then the tsunami comes inside the house. And then he says vestibule a lot. I have to look that up. I think I know what it means. Vestibule. Not vestibular. Vestibule. A vestibule is a small room leading into a larger space, such as a lobby. Okay, so the whole thing is a bunch of vestibules, apparently. So he's in a lot of lobbies. And then the tsunami comes in. It's inside the building. And then there's another guy that he talks to. That is a human. That's alive. As far as I know. I don't know. We will see. But I'm hoping that it could. And then there was a lady that had a beehive on her head, and then one of the bees that was the size of his thumb apparently crawled over her eyeball. I'm like, what is going on? I have absolutely no clue. I'm gonna have to go back and chat and check out these recommendations, because I need some imagination fuel. A tsunami or just a small tide? Well, it was enough to... and also, there's marble statues everywhere in these vestibules with the tide coming up. Like, he was drowning, and then he was holding on to a big thumb of a marble statue. No clue. Genre confusing as fuck. Yeah. That's right. Well, I'm so interested. See, this is why I'm going to stick with it. Rest, absolutely love the diversity in your line work. Tells a lovely story, both of and within the foot. Thank you so much, Rest. Plot twist: it's actually a 12-year-old playing Call of Duty for the first time. Oh man, he's in a game like Tron, maybe, but there's like weird wording, right? He doesn't know how old he is, so he's like, I am a male between the ages of 30 and 35. I'm just like, okay. There's just all these little breadcrumbs. I'm like, all right, you're a psycho. There's something like that going on. And then last night, he mentioned me as the viewer. I was like, oh shit. We're breaking the fourth wall. And you wait 2 or 3 more streams, I'm gonna be like, it's the best book ever. You have to read it. But I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it. We'll see. Airdinatio. I'm super uncultured in media for someone who majors in animation. Me too, I'm so uncultured. I know nothing. This is why I'm trying to culture myself. So it's like the future and he's in a sci-fi cult or something. Maybe, but he's also in underwater and swimming around with marble statues and a lady that has a bee crawling over her eyeballs. I don't know. Jacob, how you doing? Welcome. Sorry, I did see your chat there. I think it's your first time. Welcome. This is the type of shenanigans you can expect. This book sounds scary. He's like, and you're reading, come with me. There was a little bit of that. Oh, hello. This is quite interesting now. Fear the Fob. Okay, someone... Piranesi is great. You'll get more context once you keep calling. See, this is what everyone says. This is what everyone says, so I'm kind of excited. And then maybe I can do some like illustrations. with it. You never know. I mean, so there was like a like a lady. Is there something gone with the audio? Hello, maybe it's just my headphones. I don't know. So there's like like, nah, I can't be bothered. Cannot be bothered. We'll draw the lady with the beehive later. At a later date. I'll keep you on a cliffhanger. Alright, look. I think from the goal of the stream, we got somewhere, right? So his ear's in the wrong place. Sorry. Pause. I couldn't end the stream like that. I couldn't do that to you guys. I still don't like it, but we've got to stop. But yeah, from the goal of the of the stream was to do some experimental stuff, and then doing a bit of this, just playing around with head shapes and just understanding simple 3D forms. It's good. It's kind of like a palette cleanser, you know what I mean? Doing something different, not just jumping into color all the time, switching it up. All right, taking this reference that we had from this dude over here and trying to draw him in the same pose, but in a different perspective. I think, no, I can keep noodling. I will not keep noodling. No, hold on. There's something up with this. This needs to be like that more, and this all needs to come in. This, I think, should actually be squished in more, like coming in, what's the word, with perspective more, but not bad, not bad. Travis, how you doing? Joshua, cute underbite vibe there, that's it. That's what I was going for. But oh man, I'm back to, I'm glad we're back to the regular streams. I think we all lack somewhere in culture. There are a ton of classics both in books and film that I haven't read or seen respectively. Yeah, me too. If I'm honest, do I want to say this out later? I've never watched The Lion King. That's how uncultured I am. Catch you later, Lana. So yeah, look, as a last little mention, I'm working on a full value course. Keep an eye out. Nothing set in stone just yet. But yeah, that's whoa. I'm not doing anything. And it just, and we're back. Holy moly. All right. So yeah, keep an eye out for that one. It's going to be videos. It's going to be writings and all that sort of stuff. So that'll be fun. If you like this stylized stuff. Oh, I should also mention Proco. It's got their Black Friday sales going on at the moment. And my walkthrough is there. So Black Friday sale, 20% off a bloody steal. And where's, there we go. Bada bing, bada boom. And we've got an extra 2 hour, so I should really say 12 hours and 32 minutes. Oh no, that's right. That's right. An extra 2 hour little thing I recorded on how to do head turnarounds and that kind of thing that you can't get just on my normal Gumroad sort of version of this course. So go check it out, get yourself a deal, and I reckon that'll be it for the plugs. That's fine. It was an absolute pleasure. I'll just catch up with the chat before we head off. Erdnatio, by the way, I've said this in another chat before, but thank you for streaming. I love the way you talk about yourself and your art. It makes me less critical and more trusting of my own art process. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for popping in. Das Boot is a goated movie. All right, I'm going to check that out. Yeah, what? Yeah, the Lion King. I know, it's embarrassing. Ben, you need to watch the Lion King. I know, I should. I really should. It is embarrassing. Vloopy, Aaron Blaze streams, by the way. I know. Yeah, he's got good streams. We should watch it this week. Do like a viewing party. Oh, yeah, I do want to check out his Snow Bear movie. All right, with that, I shall be saying good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you're at. Thank you so much for indulging me in my artistic explorations. This was very line work heavy, which is something that I'm trying to focus on. So thank you for joining me. It's an absolute pleasure to be able to chat to you guys and sit down and do a bit of drawing, a bit of painting, having a bit of fun. So with that said, same time next week, as always, I will catch you in the next one. I'm hungry. I'm gonna go get something to eat. All right. Bye-bye. You chase those aha moments, Ishan. Thank you, Super. Nisrael, catch you later. Alfredo, Devi, Travis, you guys are bloody legends. Thanks so much for popping in.